I don't take things so personal. I think before 2012, on a certain level, when somebody said, "Ooh, worms in the house," I heard it as, "Ooh, something wrong with me." And I know that sounds trivial. How can that be? That's so superficial. I can't explain it. The laughter has given me permission to realize, oh, they're not afraid of me. They're not saying, "Ooh, Cathy, you're gross." They're saying, "I don't want what you have." That's all. Okay. And so I've been, it's given me permission to separate myself from how they respond to that piece. And really, to be honest, it allowed me to stay in my worm business. I didn't know what to do. I was really struggling with how do I make this happen? If people are afraid of the worms, they're not putting them in their house. They're not calling me. And now, and now laughter, we need it more than ever.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another Now Boarding episode where, as we bring you stories and insights from inspiring change makers who are not just in one part of the world, but they're across the globe. Today, we're joined by the one and only Cathy Nesbitt. Cathy is a multi award winning environmental innovator, and wait till you hear all the stuff that she's innovated. It's pretty cool. She's a health and wellness advocate, and she is the self described Kathy Crowley Laughing Bean Queen. So, thank you so much. It's a fun introduction. So, thank you so much for joining me today, Kathy.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm excited for our chat.
Great. Okay, so let's begin with Kathy, your mission, which is to put worms in every living space. So, how did this passion for composting with worms actually first come about?
I'm located in Canada, just north of Toronto, largest city in Canada. And in 2002, our landfill closed and we started to export our garbage to the United States, even though we're second largest country in the world. And I had a solution. This is indoor composting with worms. In the Greater Toronto Area, 6 million people. Half live in condos, townhouses, without space to do outdoor composting. I'm proposing worms in the house. Why not? That was the beginning. And yeah, so it's really interesting. I believe I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I just had an idea. I saw a solution. I think that's what an entrepreneur is. There's a problem and you have a solution for that problem. And this is a global. I'm so excited to speak on your global stage because this is we all eat. We all create food waste. This is something we can all do to turn our food waste into soil, into a soil fertilizer, into compost that we can add to our gardens, that we can put on our grass, put on our wherever. We can just throw it like it's non-toxic. People will say, maybe I live in a condo, I don't have any plants, and what am I going to do with the soil that's created? Give it to your gardening friends. Now your shopping's done.
Yeah.
Right? It's nutrient rich and it's nature's way. We've got away from nature. We're disconnected now. So this is a wonderful way for us to reconnect to nature. When we're composting, when we're gardening, we can't be on our technology. It would get dirty.
Correct. Yeah.
So it helps us connect on a deeper level. It's really a big mission. Thank you for asking.
So how have people reacted? Because I'm sure there are a lot of misconceptions that people may have about vermicomposting. And so how, because when you started, I'm sure there may have been a lot of adverse reactions to the concept in itself. So what are the different things that you did to actually bring about a change within the people's mindsets? And did you start from your neighborhood? What really was the process of making people understand that this is something that, as you mentioned, bringing environmental strategies in order to help with sustainability, bringing it into your own home rather than looking outwards?
I started, I knew that people needed what I had, but people don't buy what they need, they buy what they want. and they didn't want what I was flowing. I would have a table wherever I could. I would set up a booth at different trade shows, business meetings. I would have a table everywhere. And I'm high energy, I'm animated, so it was probably fun to watch me. But then there's a line. It's, yeah, no, I'm not having worms in the house. So I decided it's the 23rd anniversary. I started in 2002. I was, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? If the people that I'm meeting are saying, ooh, yeah, no, I'm not putting worms in my house. I decided to take on school workshops. And over 100,000 students have now seen my presentation. And that's where the change starts. You start with the children, they have a worm bin in the classroom, they get to see the process, they get to experience it. And if they had any fear that isn't innate, it's passed on from parents or from an experience. We're not born like it's not like snakes where we might have an innate fear of snakes. Worms are different. This is a learned fear. When they have them in the class, they might start off afraid, a little bit afraid of the worms. And then when they see what the worms do, they don't have teeth, they can't bite us. They just stay in the container. They're beautiful. Then their maybe fear of the worms turns into awe. And then now they're connected to the worms. And I can say that in 23 years, I've had the privilege of meeting students who had a worm bin in their grade 3 class. And now, more than once, I've had people come up to me and say, Cathy, you were in my grade 3 class. And because we had worms, or because of me, or maybe both, I went to university and now I'm an environmental lawyer. Like, what?
Wow.
That's a huge impact.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you see it firsthand, I think when people actually come back to you and say that, oh, we benefited or we were impacted, and this is what we're doing as a result of it, I think it must be fulfilling for you. And as you're saying, it's been 23 years that you've been doing it. And clearly, it's become a global phenomenon now. Kudos to you for just soldiering on and making sure that it really reaches the right kind of, not the right kind of people, but it reaches more and more people. And the awareness is there, which is great. I also understand that you have something called Cathy's Sprouter. And how do sprouts fit into a sustainable, healthy lifestyle?
Sprouts are nature's original fast food. Grow your own for pennies a day. It's a seed or a bean. The system I use is hydroponic, meaning with water.
Yeah,
And you can sprout in any container. I do happen to have a little spaceship looking container in that it's the size of a dinner plate. It's food grade plastic, a stainless steel mesh, which is removable. You put your beans on, and I really do recommend using organic beans, certified organic if possible. The price for beans, organic beans versus conventionally grown with chemicals, is nominal. It's such a small amount, and you get such a big amount of beans. It's really worth spending the little bit extra money because we're sprouting for our health. So we don't want to have the added chemicals if possible.
yeah,
So you just add the water, and when the seed of the bean germinates, that's when you eat it. When the root is the size of the bean, that's when you eat it. And sprouts are, oh my gosh, they have fiber, protein, minerals, kind of everything that our body needs is in that little sprout. They're hydrating, alkalizing, regenerative, biogenic, and contain up to 100 times more digestive enzymes than raw vegetables. They are these magic, it's this little hidden secret, like in nature, right? It's right there. So what does it have to do with sustainability? We save money, first of all. If we grow our own, if you buy sprouts sprouted at the store, they're expensive because somebody grew them. They had to get there. There's a whole facility doing that. So there's a lot of big footprint for sprouts in the store. When you grow them yourself, it's like the 2-foot diet. Never mind 100-foot diet. Like you're just going from the counter to the sink.
right. Yeah,
And you rinse them and then you eat them. And so they're super fresh. They're more affordable. There's zero waste. There's no downside to eating sprouts. And I have to tell you about sprouts. Why I started my sprouting journey was the very first event in 2002 that I was exhibiting my worms. And there was a gentleman there, Tony Hornick, the sprouter that I'm selling and using. He was 72, a professional ballroom dancer. He's 96 this year.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you. Wow. Wow. And I saw this man, and I came from an employee background. So people retired, whatever, at 65 or whatever, and whatever they did after retirement. I wasn't used to seeing somebody still working at 72. But entrepreneurs, we don't go away. We keep going because we have a mission. There's no retirement. What is that? And it's not about, oh, we want to relax. It's that I believe for entrepreneurs that are really on purpose, it's your life. So you're just living your life, you're making money, you're having, like, it's all, for me, there's no work-life balance. It's life. It's just life, and it's so enjoyable. That's why it's not work, it's play for me. So in 2002, at my first event, there's Tony selling this sprouter, and it looks like a spaceship. And when there was a break in the audience, I said, "What is that thing? And why is everyone buying that and not my worms?" And he told me about sprouts. And so I don't need to know why something works. This man looked super healthy. He was a professional ballroom dancer. So he had the lean ballroom dancer body. He had the good posture. He had his white crisp shirt and his black vest. He was a gentleman. And so he said, if you're going to, so I said, okay, I'm in. So he said, if you're going to do this, start your day with 2 tablespoons of sprouted mung beans. So these are the bean sprouts from Chinese food, the white beans. They're grown a little different. They're organic, and you don't grow them into the long beans. They're just the sprouted bean. He said, start your day with 2 tablespoons of those every day to for the digestive enzymes mostly. Okay. 10 years. 10 years. This was my private health plan. Every day, eating my sprouts. And I would still see Tony. So 2012, he's now 82. 10 years into my worm business. We're at an event. And whenever we're at an event together, when people were at his booth, I'd go over and I'd say, you should get one of those.
Yeah.
Like, it's so great. They probably thought I was a plant. Haha, sprouts. And he said to me in 2012, hey, why don't you sell the sprouter and beans with your worm business? And I was like, oh my gosh, why don't I? Like, I love this product. Of course. Now my booth is really confusing, like worms on one end, sprouts on the other. Like, it's what
And
is happening here?
sprouts also look like worms.
And marketing's not my thing, but I'm still standing, so something is working.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really fascinating. So I only did sprouts for the 10 years. When I started selling the sprouter, I still only had mung beans. And one day a woman said to me, I would have samples, and she said, what else can you sprout? And I said, I don't know, because I hadn't. And she said, don't you get sick of mung beans? And this is my health plan. Right. So it's how we look at things. So I said, it's my health plan. Would you get sick of having tons of energy and feeling great? Maybe. And then as a businesswoman, I was like, what do I care if they don't want mung beans? And I started to experiment chickpeas, lentils, fenugreek, radish. You can sprout anything, any plant started as a bean or a seed. So you can't eat all sprouts raw. I would say not kidney beans. You don't eat kidney beans raw. That's the only one that I'm aware of, but there may be others.
But chickpeas you can.
Chickpeas are amazing. If somebody makes hummus and they use a can of chickpeas, right, they're cooked, they have sodium and preservatives. Sprout your chickpeas, right? The roots the size of the bean, they're still hard. You don't cook them. Use your same recipe, and they're way more nutritious. And the flavor is over the top because they just have a different, they're not processed.
Interesting. Yeah. So now, after worms and sprouts, move on to something else that you are doing. And I actually thank you for inviting me for that online laughter yoga that you did. It was so interesting to watch and observe all the people who had joined on your Zoom call. So you have said that laughter yoga has played a pivotal role in your. How did you
Mm.
discover it, and how has it, outside of the sprouts that you eat, how has it actually transformed your well-being?
Oh, so great. Oh, this is a beautiful interview. Thank you for taking us on a path of my journey so that people can really understand why each of these pieces. This is beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
2012, again, 10 years into my worm journey, one more person said, "Ooh, worms in the house." I had heard it hundreds of times in the previous 10 years. I wasn't listening. I was like, no, you need this. But they don't buy what they need. We talked about
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I'm very quick. When I get an idea, I want it to come to life right away. 10 years, I was like, I tried. I know this is important. It's still important. I don't know what to do. I'm looking up to the sky. What do I do? I don't know what to do. And the very next day, I was introduced to laughter yoga. So 2012, when they said that, I heard it, I felt it. I would just, maybe I should get a job. Oh, no, this has to work. And I was introduced to laughter yoga. And I don't do yoga. I know yoga's a fine thing. It's just not something I practice, but I love laughing. And I said, laughter yoga, what is that? And so I started to research laughter yoga, and laughter yoga was started in 1995 by a medical doctor, and his goal is world peace. There are clubs around the world laughing, thousands of clubs around the world, and it's not jokes or comedy. Jokes are culture, right? Two people going somewhere, not funny for those two. It's laughing at a cardiovascular exercise. Ever heard the expression laughter's the best medicine?
yeah.
It's scientifically proven. Hallelujah for those that need science. I don't need it, but if you need it, it's there. How has it helped me? It's really interesting because I'm super healthy and I prioritize my health. I put me first. And in 2012, I did a TED Talk in 2013, and I was introduced to laughter in 2012. So I've been sprouting, which is super healthy. It's helped me stay vibrant and gives me energy and all those things. I did a TEDx talk in 2012, 2013. When I look at my TED Talk now, I'm chunky, I'm a little bit pudgy. The laughter yoga I have rock hard abs now. It's
Wow.
just taken me to another level of health. And I've been laughing since 2012, but really laughing since 2020. So I believe it's helped me I've lost inflammation from laughing. I'm just more vibrant. I'm more resilient. I don't take things so personal. I think before 2012, on a certain level, when somebody said, "Ooh, worms in the house," I heard it as, "Ooh, something wrong with me." And I know that sounds trivial. How can that be? That's so superficial. I can't explain it. The laughter has given me permission to realize, oh, they're not afraid of me. They're not saying, "Ooh, Cathy, you're gross." They're saying, "I don't want what you have." That's all. Okay. And so it's given me permission to separate myself from how they respond to that piece. And really, to be honest, it allowed me to stay in my worm business. I didn't know what to do. I was really struggling with how do I make this happen? If people are afraid of the worms, they're not putting them in their house. They're not calling me. And now, and now laughter, we need it more than ever.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, what are some techniques from laughter yoga that you think our listeners could use to bring more joy into their individual daily routine?
Just doing it, first of all. And it's a challenge to laugh by yourself. So just attending a laughter club, I invite everyone to come to my club, but any club. The thing of the laughter yoga, the why it's called laughter yoga, it's not doing yoga and laughing, it's laughing as a cardiovascular exercise. It's the deep diaphragmatic breathing is the yoga part and the practice of the laughter. Laughter is the opposite of stress. Today we are living in this perpetual state of stress. Fear, fear. I'm inviting people to not look at the news. We need to know what's happening, and we will. If we're on social media at all, we're going to hear what's going on. People are going to tell us. We just don't need the graphic details because once they get in, they're in. We can't get them out. If we see an image, it's seen. We can't unsee
Okay.
something.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So minimize your time on social media too. Deep breathe. Like whenever we're panicking, it's because we're up in our head. Come sink into your body, put your hand on your belly, on a hand on a heart, take a deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out. Ha. Because when we sigh, It's an auditory signal to our brain. I must be happy. I'm sighing, right? We're never running for the bus sighing. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be late. Ha, no.
Yeah.
Or we could do yippies. There's so many wonderful things that we can do to add into our life to help us get out of that stress state because our body is not healing when we're in stress. And people will often stress eat. Like they're so stressed, so they go and eat a burger, or they go and eat fries or something. Our body doesn't digest when we're in stress. We're not in that, we're not in that nervous system. We're in the stress system. So we need to, if we've had a fight with somebody, don't eat right away. Go and stand outside, go with your bare feet, get some earth energy. Really, there are so many things to do, and we're worth it. We are so worth it.
Yeah, no said we are worth it. No, I totally agree with you. And I think like you have adopted this into your, and which is why for you it's magical. And there's simple things that you've adopted and adapted into your life. And I attended one of your laughter yoga sessions, and I can see that energy that you have, which is not forced, it comes naturally. And a bunch of people who were there in different parts of the US, most likely. And I was there, but outside of me, maybe US or Canada, I'm not sure. But
Oh, we get UK.
South
I get
Africa.
people from around the world.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's incredible. So I would like you to share at the end of our conversation, if you could just share the link, because I think it's such a simple way of trying to stay healthy, because I believe that, and I'd like you to obviously give your expert opinion on it, but I believe that sustainability and wellness can both be merged if you're an entrepreneur into your business. That's my belief of it. But if you have, and I'm sure you have things to add to that, I'd appreciate for the listeners to hear what you have to say and your outlook to it.
I think when we feel good, we do good. And so taking care of ourselves and being healthy, being vibrant and having good energy because we've slept well. I hear people saying, "Oh, I'm so tired." If you're tired during the day, that probably means you didn't sleep well that night.
Yeah,
You were up in the night. I know people go to the bathroom and whatever, but sometimes if you wake up and you can't get back to sleep, you got the monkey chatter, there's work to be done. Work needs to be done so that you can sleep well. It's essential that we sleep well. So when we feel good, we do good. And I think that they really go hand in hand because when we're feeling good ourselves, we want to look after the planet because we're hopeful. These things all go hand in hand. And I before 2020, I thought I was a juggler. What do you need? I have worms, I have sprouts, I have laughter. Oh, and I did think they were separate things that I did in my life, but they were separate. Someone might just want sprouts or they might just want laughter. They don't want worms necessarily. And then 2020, all that thinking time. And I realized, oh, all the things that I'm doing are a sustainable, beautiful way to live your life. Maybe not as a business, but just like we're all eating. So when you're chopping your carrots and your vegetables, you got to put your scraps somewhere. Why not put them in a worm bin?
yeah.
And then you can grow sprouts, eat some sprouts every day. Then you get energy and you don't have to buy a vitamin pill. And the laughter is just an obvious maintenance. What happens sometimes, I believe, is we might feel good, and then our list is so long. So we're like, there's no time for me to go to the gym. There's no time for me to go for a walk and talk with my friend because my list is too long. It's put you first, get you out of the way, check off you, and then you're going to be more present and more, and you'll enjoy it more. It won't be like, I got to take the kids here and there, those darn kids. Why are they so demanding of my time? You'd be like, oh, yeah, I get to drive the kids because I feel great myself. I took time for me. So now I have more time for them.
So it's like you're saying, it's you first, and then everything else will naturally follow. You're also an avid cyclist and a gardener. A gardener, I can understand, but a cyclist as well. So, how do these habits actually, not habits, but hobbies, tie into your larger philosophy of health and sustainability?
Gardening to me is an obvious one. When we're gardening, when we plant seeds, gardeners are the most hopeful people, right? You plant a seed and you water it, you talk to it, maybe you spend time there hoping it grows. It's months maybe till you get your harvest. So you plant a seed hoping that it's gonna make it to harvest time. And you're connected. There is actually antidepressant microbes in the soil. So we're in the soil, we're getting the good G, and we're getting connected to the energy. So for me, gardening is a no-brainer. Cycling, I don't have a cell phone and I don't listen to music or anything when I'm walking or in the forest or riding. I want to know the car's behind me, first of all.
All right.
I want to know if I'm going to get hit by a car. But I like listening. I like hearing the sounds of nature, hearing the birds. I like hearing the people. And when I'm riding my bike, I just go slow. I'm just like a meanderer. I ride my bike like I walk. I'm just like a dog. I'm not a speed walker. I'm not a speed rider. I just am looking around and I want to connect with people. So when I'm riding, I combine my laughter yoga, which seems so funny. So I'm laughing, just doing my laughter yoga and riding my bike. And it's very interesting. When I go at the same time and I see the same people, some people will laugh with me as I'm going by, like they'll see me and then we'll laugh, and then I thank them for the giggle. If I go at a different time, it's really fascinating, the response. When we see people laughing, it's not usual. When people are laughing by themselves, and I had an experience one day, I was riding my bike, and there was a man with his granddaughter, I found out after, on a bridge. So I stopped, I talked to everyone. So I get off my bike, I start walking over, and I could feel that he wasn't comfortable with me approaching. So I stopped, I said, "Have a great day," and got on my bike. I saw him a couple days later. I was standing on the bridge and he walked up without his granddaughter and we got engaged. And he said, when people see people laughing by themselves, they think there's something wrong with them.
Crazy.
And I burst out laughing. I said, "I know." And we continued talking. And I got on my bike. I rode home. It wasn't until I walked into the living room, I was like, oh my gosh, he was talking about me.
So he may have seen you riding your bike and laughing.
Laughing.
Yeah, and may have therefore thought that there's something not that you're cuckoo. Yeah, correct. So
Isn't that funny? And I didn't even know that it was me. That's
it
I was
took
like,
you some time to
yes, like I
connect.
agree.
So I want to ask you, okay, this is just a fun question. If you could give a worm a name that actually embodies your mission, what do you think it would be and why?
Oh my gosh, great question. Just what popped in was giggly wiggly.
A giggly way. Yeah, actually. Yeah, absolutely. That makes it, I mean, it completely, it connects everything that you do, right? So yeah, oh, that's a cool name. Okay. I thought I was putting you on a spot, but your response was pretty quick. Okay. What is, if I asked you to describe yourself in 3 words, this is going to be my last question to you. What would those 3 words be?
Wise, bubbly.
And joy-filled. Nice. I would have thought you would say healthy, happy. Use these two words as well. But no, that's good.
Hmm.
That's good. Thank you so much, Kathy. I was also, even though we are like what's connecting us is only a screen, but I could also feel your energy, your positive energy. And
Hmm.
if you're
Thank
able
you.
to do it virtually, then, in person, it must be completely a very different experience for people who know you. So
You
I,
know what I say is online is fine. In person is divine. It's just
I,
another level. It's
I
in person is really beautiful.
I agree with you completely. And that's what, and it's happened to me several times in the past that I've interviewed guests whom I've ended up meeting in some corner of the world. And it's
Mm.
happened to me several times. And that's the joy of also being able to, I know you're doing this over Zoom, but the fact that you can connect with people at this level in the hope that at some point in their life, your life, you will meet them somewhere in person. And I think these are the connections that are so important. And I feel that for me, every single conversation that I have, whether it's on Now Boarding or Melting Pot, brings me I get wrapped into a different world of the person that I'm interviewing. And if
Mm.
there are so many takeaways for me personally, then I can imagine all the people who listen in or who watch the episode on YouTube, how they must be absorbing. And I hope they are. And I know that they do.
Mm.
And I think that's the most fulfilling part of what I do as a passion. So thank you once again, Cathy. And oh yeah, and how do people connect with you on your if they want to be a part of your laughing yoga sessions? That's one. And do you have any social media? Is there any website that people can reach out to you on?
Yes, so my Tuesday club is 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It's 30 minutes of super fun self-care, and they can find the information on my laughter page at cathysclub.com, Cathy with a C. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Cathy Nesbitt. And yeah, come and try laughter yoga, either at my club or any club. It's really a beautiful thing. And it's the fifth anniversary. June will be 5 years. I started June of 2020
Wow,
with my laughter club every Tuesday, 5 years. It's so beautiful.
that's
And I incorporate tapping, brain gym, qigong. Laughter goes with everything. It's complementary medicine, but we got to take the dose.
yeah. Agree. We have to be open to taking the dose. So thank you so much, Cathy. And I
Thank
have
you.
to say that your laughter is very infectious. So
Yay! In a good way.
yes, absolutely, in a very good way. So thank you, appreciate your time, and I look forward to being whichever Tuesday I'm able to, I will also join your laughing yoga. It depends on which part of the world I am in, of course. Sometimes the time zones may not really work, but whenever I can, I
Mm.
definitely will. So thank you once again.
Join anytime.
Great. Thanks, Cathy. Lovely talking to you.